By the way, everybody knows that Tom Fitton is a hero for freedom and liberty and transparency in our government and holding corrupt elected officials accountable. What they don't know about him is he is a hell of a salsa dancer as well. He joins us now. Tom, thanks for being here. Don't be bashful. It's true. We've all seen you on the dance floor.
Well, why would I dispute that? What could be worse?
Yeah. Run with it.
Exactly.
That's
right.
Let's
go with
That's
that.
Right.
Tom Fitton, my friend, it's always good to talk with you. There's a lot of talk right now about these pardons. A lot about Donald Trump's J6 pardons, but strangely, hardly anybody is talking about the pardons that Biden put out as he was leaving office, and those are, frankly, in my opinion, much more disconcerting. What do you think about these Biden pardons at the last minute to protect his family?
Well, obviously they're kind of corrupt and he's thumbing his nose at voters, the Constitution, and the rule of law. Whether they're valid or not is another matter.
But can we pause on that for a quick second? Because preemptive, this whole, they may have committed a crime, but if they did for the last 10 years, I mean, people are saying, well, Jerry Ford did that for Richard Nixon, so that makes it okay. Is that the only other precedent that we know of?
Yeah. And I don't think the Nixon pardon obviously was never challenged.
And it was rather extraordinary.
Yeah, it was pretty controversial. It's arguably the reason why President Carter was President Carter.
Yeah.
We forget that. What went on here is, in my view, something that should be rejected by President Trump and his team, which were, as I call it, pardons about nothing. And a pardon about nothing, where an offense isn't specified, is in the end a pardon about nothing, right? And I called this yesterday the empty set pardons. They're nullities. How is it they can even be managed or implemented when you don't know who the beneficiary is? When you look at the January 6th pardons as it relates to the committee and supposedly everyone who testified and the staff there, these people were destroying records. Who knows who these names are?
Right.
And when a president does this at the last minute, he's essentially turning it over to the next president. And so President Trump should tell the Justice Department, stop. Don't affect them. Don't deliver them. Don't process them. They're invalid. And in the end, the pardons are a defense, right? And so to test this, if I, again, were the Justice Department, or running the Justice Department, or the Defense Department in the case of General Milley, I would just proceed. See how far you get in terms of criminal investigations. Doesn't mean you target them specifically, but you begin the process of the investigations into the crimes that these people may or may not be implicated in. And if they are, it may be tested further in court. And I would focus on General Milley, because supposedly he's been pardoned for both federal offenses and offenses against the Code of Military Justice. There could be offenses short of criminal case charges even that can be pursued against him. This is, to me, something that President Trump should just be aggressive on. And the pushback is, well, Trump might want to be able to do this 4 years from now. Well, we all know the Democrats are going to follow my lead if he does.
Yep. And
treat the pardons as I suggest Biden's pardons be treated. So that can't be the reason. And if it is, and if these pardons are valid, nothing stops President Trump from saying, I'm pardoning everyone who worked for me the last, frankly, 4 to 12 years, and for all federal offenses they may have committed.
Yeah.
What's the,
I got to ask you something.
He could pardon everyone who worked for him in the government.
Yeah.
Right. Last night in an interview with Hannity, President Trump gave this warning of Biden gave everyone else a pardon but himself. Can we go to cut 6?
You got that?
This guy went around giving everybody pardons. And the funny thing, maybe the sad thing, is he didn't give himself a pardon. And if if you look at it, it all had to do with him.
What does that tell you, Tom?
Yeah, your thoughts on that?
Well, it suggests he's highlighted the fact that President Biden still has potential criminal liability for his crime family and the activities that he's trying to protect other family members from being held accountable over. And he doesn't have the immunity the Supreme Court highlighted, it looks to me, for certain of these activities.
Tom Fitton is with us from Judicial Watch. Tom, you've been championing the cause of Ashley Babbitt and wanting to get to some level of justice for her family, the only person who was actually killed on January 6th, directly as a result of January 6th. And one of the Biden pardons going out the door was for Officer Byrd, the man whose hand pulled that trigger that killed Ashley Babbitt. Love for your thoughts on that and Ashley Babbitt's family, what their reaction is if you're in contact with them.
Well, they obviously want justice for Ashley. And I don't know, was Byrd pardoned? I don't know if that's true. Did he talk to the January 6th committee?
I thought Officer Byrd did get a pardon. Excuse me. Hang on a second. I was quite sure that he did.
Was he covered by that January 6th pardon? I don't know.
Well, all right. If he was not, I apologize.
It may be he was, but of course that highlights the absurdity and the nullity of the pardons, that we don't even know who's covered.
Yeah,
I mean, that's
true. There seems to be
this
this whole sweeping thing. But if I'm wrong on that, I appreciate you correcting me on button. We do know that Anthony Fauci got a pardon. And the information behind Anthony Fauci was also a major thrust of Judicial Watch's attempt to get transparency and attempt to get information about what went on there.
Well, two quick things. On Ashley Babbitt, we represent her estate, her family, Aaron, her widower, in a $30 million wrongful death lawsuit currently being defended by the federal government. It's against the federal government. And so the Trump administration has to quickly figure out, it would seem to me, I would hope, whether it wants to defend in court the killing of Ashley. And so that's going to come to, I mean, we have a hearing next week.
Yeah. Well, good. We'll keep us updated on that. And again,
that would be terrible if the Trump administration it seemed to me terrible if the president's lawyers showed up at the Justice Department to defend her shooting death.
Yeah.
And whether there should be full accountability for it.
That would be remarkable, and that's certainly something that we will watch because it's a different Justice Department now, and it's a different White House, and they may take a very different approach. Tom Fitton, always good to talk with you. Thank you, sir. We got to leave it there.
Hey, you're welcome. Thank you.
It's Judicial Watch, and if you think, well, we've got a Republican majority in the House and the Senate, and we've got Trump in the White House, no, Judicial Watch is more important than ever. JudicialWatch.org.